What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of the Main Card Podcast.
Let's do
It's
it.
your boy, Mike.
Your boy Ryan here.
This is the crew, man. This is going to be a little bit of the crew for the Main Card Podcast, man. Me and my brother-in-law, Ryan, man, we love MMA. We love UFC. Some type of Bellator fans here and there, but mainly UFC fans. And I was talking to him a couple weeks ago. I said, man, I would love to start a podcast, and we could do it over Zoom because Ryan's basically living out of Pittsburgh. Not basically, is living out of Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Shout out to Pittsburgh and all the homies out there. And I'm in Milford. So we love watching the fights. We FaceTime each other over the fights. I got the best father-in-law in the game, man. Me and my father-in-law, who's Ryan's dad, we watch the fights all the time together. We FaceTime Ryan. And we were like, you know what? Let's throw a podcast together. Let's call it the Main Card. Let's see what people think. Let's get guests on. Let's get them talking. This is like the regular guys podcast about MMA fighting, man. So what do you think about it, Ryan? You down for it?
I'm down because I know that we have, the Respect the Chat crew, obviously. And this is going to be all under, the Respect the Chat franchise is what we're going with, the RDC crew franchise. But, me and Mike have some time to just sit down and discuss on the fly what's coming up with UFC, what's coming up with MMA. And just a quick episode here and there. We're going to try and do like probably once or twice a week, just discuss what's relevant and just get it out in time for the listeners to, be able to consume it and then watch the fights, not watch the fights and then consume what we're going to say about them. So I'm excited. We can definitely get some guests on this way. It's a lot easier like this to get guests and other people. So let's get it going.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt, man. I want to get maybe if I could start to get into maybe some guys we know from high school that wrestled, or maybe some guys who fought before or have family members who have. Like, we can get them on, see their perspective of things too. This is going to be the cool part about this because with this new world that we're living in, Zoom is like the new craziest thing that I never heard of before, man. And now you can reach out to everybody and get everybody on. Because usually when we record for Respect the Chat, we do it like 11 o'clock Saturday morning, 10 o'clock Friday night. It's all crazy time. So shout out to Frank. Shout out to Rich. The Respect the Chat, other members with me and Ryan. And, they're going to be on as well. We'll get them on. But we'll be your main two guys pretty much, giving you the rundown for the Main Card Podcast. They could find us on, how do they find us?
So we're on YouTube at RDC Crew. So what we're going to be doing on there is posting all the Main Card episodes that we record. We're going to be posting other Respect the Chat videos that we get out, maybe some competitions here and there. We'll do something fun. Me and my boys, if we ever do a Respect the Bets, who you should go follow on Twitter, if we ever do a video concerning that, it'll go there. So it's a one-stop shop for everything for the RDC crew. So go subscribe, go check it out. I'll probably post this on the Respect the Chat Instagram and have like a little link to our new YouTube. So that's where they can find everything now.
Very cool, very cool. Don't mind my background here. Apartment, I don't have much space. As if you listen to Respect the Chat, my wife is pregnant, so we have a lot of things going on in the apartment right now. Shout out to the Cowboys. Probably wear a hat a lot of these episodes, so we'll give a shout out to the different hats we're on. Ryan got one of the best universities in the United States of America, University of Pittsburgh, man, one of my favorite cities ever. So once again, not only am I shouting out Pittsburgh every single time I get, but I'm telling you, man, if you have not been to the city of Pittsburgh, you need to get on the horse, get in your car, fly a plane. I don't care how you get there, but get there, man, because it's the perfect mix of sports for anybody who's a sports fan. They got bars, they got restaurants. It's a clean environment. People are nice, man. You can't go wrong. And Ryan is a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, so I know he's got to be happy about this as well. What are they, 4-0, 5-0? What's the record? 5-0.
5-0. So we'll see. Sunday, we're facing the Titans. So there'll be 2 undefeated teams left after that. But I'm excited, but we don't have to get into the football.
Yeah.
Because we always like to.
Yes, we probably gotta have somebody else to reel us in every now and then if we go
Right.
on football tangent. But UFC 254, is that
Right.
what we have tomorrow? The numbers always confuse me. But
Right.
254 is
254.
up, and man, I have been waiting for this one
Oh
for
yeah.
a long, long, long time. Two of maybe the pound for pound best fighters in the world are gonna fight each other in Khabib Nurmagomedov and Justin Gaethje. Man, this is gonna be absolutely crazy in the main event. And the co-main event, Robert Whittaker versus Jared Cannonier.
Mhm.
Holy smokes. The other fights we'll get into too, because we're going to pick all the fights.
Right.
Some of the things that we do on the main card is we'll run through the fight nights. If it's a fight night, we'll run through the if it's a UFC, pay-per-view event, we'll run through that. We'll pick most of the fights, not really the prelims. We're going to stick to the main card unless there is a prelim one that we really feel good about. We'll give you
Right.
guys some bets. We'll do a little parlay action. We're going to do a lot of different things, maybe get into how these guys are training, why we're picking certain guys. So this first episode, we're going to go on the fly. From here on out, we'll probably have a good agenda going for you guys. So
Right.
stick with us and let us know. Give us feedback, what you want to hear from us. Past fights maybe you want us to watch again and talk about. I'm always doing stuff like that. I love that stuff. Like, for instance, Jared Cannonier, not a guy I knew a lot about, but I started to watch his old fights. Man, this guy can strike, man. This
Oh
guy
yeah.
can do a lot of different things. He's a little bit out there. If you haven't been watching the UFC Embedded, check that out. We love UFC. We love Dana White. Dana White, holla at us at
Yep.
the RDC crew at the main card, man. We need you. The UFC Embedded, man, they give you a whole in-depth look at what's been happening on Fight Island, and they give you a whole in-depth look of it's about a week or so leading up to the fight. So check that out as well. But Jared Cannonier, man, he is a heck of a fighter. What do you think about Cannonier? You know anything about him?
So I think I've seen him fight in his last fight against oh geez. I don't the name's escaping me now, but I know I've seen Robert Whittaker fight his last few fights. Adesanya, he fought Darren Till, didn't he fight last just to get to this fight? Robert Whittaker's been doing it for a while now, and the odds are dead even for these two. So it's going to be electric. It's going to be great. Like I said, I brought it up on the last Respect the Chat podcast, but if you don't follow Dana White on Instagram, he always, before every card, every fight night, everything, he gives you a fight to look out for that you may not know about. And his first one, he gave out two this time. His first one was just how excited he was for Whittaker and Cannonier, and he highlighted that both these guys were electric fighters, can knock you out with one or two punches, insane strikers. And he gave a shout out to Vegas making them even. He thought that they were pretty even as well. And he gave a couple other shout outs as well. But that's mainly why I wanted to shout out his Instagram, because he always gives those little tidbits about the fights upcoming. So
Cannonier, before this fight, fought Jack Hermanson. Crazy fight.
yeah.
Cannonier won that. Cannonier before that fought Anderson Silva. Cannonier won that. He also fought David Branch. He won that. His most recent loss is to Dominic Reyes, who
Oh
just
wow.
fought Jan Blachowicz for the light heavyweight belt. So this guy's been in there with some bangers, man. Anderson Silva at the end of his career. So, Jared Cannonier, not one that I want to hang my hat on, but okay, it's a win, no problem. Jack Hermanson, pretty good fighter. I believe he fought last on the last card, didn't
He
he?
just fought
Just last weekend, I feel like.
I believe so. He fought no, he didn't fight last week. I think he's fighting.
Within recently, right? He is fought or is fighting in some capacity. Hermanson is a good fighter. Yeah, don't get me
Yeah,
wrong. Not the guy that everyone has on their radar who's a UFC fan. Got to be a real in-depth fan to know about that guy. So
definitely.
yeah, that's a good win too. David Branch, decent win. Not guys of Robert Whittaker's stature, and that's what I'm really trying to get at.
Right.
regardless of who these other guys are that he's fighting. He's fighting guys past their prime. He's fighting some guys who are like, yeah, they're okay. They're not in like, up there in the top 5, top 6 of that weight class, of the middleweight weight class.
And on the
And
flip side of that, Robert Whitaker has fought champions. He's been a champion. He's fought other champions. He's defended his belt. He's lost it. He's made the bounce back. So I'm really interested to see his bounce back here. And I think this is a good spot for both of them for sure.
Oh, yeah. And Robert Whitaker, man, that guy is absolutely unbelievable. That's what I'm looking up now, just pulling up his fights.
Right.
Well, he's fought. I can just rattle them off my head. Yola Romero, Darren Till, who just recently, Israel Adesanya, which didn't go the way Robert Whitaker wanted it to go, and that's where Whitaker lost the belt. So,
Right.
man, I mean, he's been in there with some heavy. Jacare Sosa, I believe, was another fighter who Whitaker beat as well. So Whitaker is very seasoned. And even with that being said, though, I just keep going back and forth on this. I could see why Vegas got it,
Dead even. Yeah.
very even. I know Whitaker's been saying what I've been hearing a lot on different podcasts that I listen to and different interviews that I've been following him with, is he felt burnt out for a little while. And he felt like he needed to step away for a little bit. He wasn't into the training as much. When he got to the fight, he just couldn't get the juices flowing to really go out there and perform the way that he knew that he could. And now he feels like after the Till fight, well, right before the Till fight and then into the Till fight, felt like himself again, had that fire again, didn't feel burned out anymore, felt rejuvenated, and that's a dangerous Robert Whitaker. Because Robert Whitaker, a.k.a. Bobby Knuckles, he could swing. He could take you down. He could do everything that he wants to do inside that octagon to get a win. From what I'm seeing, though, I just feel like it's this dude Cannonier's time, though. Yeah. I just feel like he's going to take the step and beat Whitaker and then move up and fight Adesanya maybe before Jones does. I don't know if they're going to even make that yet, but Cannonier is that next guy, and he just seems so focused and so charged moving, I feel like he's just moving up really fast. Right. And Whitaker is in that spot there of moving back into the title contention, but I just think they put him against a guy who's just a little too hot right now.
Yeah, and definitely comparing the two, Whitaker has, he has his bounce back after being the champion for a couple fights, and he's trying to get back to that stature, whereas Cannonier is still hungry. He hasn't tasted that yet. He's still on the come up, like you said. And after that last fight, Adesanya's last fight against Paulo Costa, they asked him, how they always ask everybody after, who do you want next? Call your shot, this, and that. And he wasn't really calling anyone out, but he said that he's been recognizing Cannonier and that he thinks he deserves the next title shot. And that's when this fight obviously was made. They said, bearing if he wins this fight, he deserves the title shot next. Then after that, John Jones and him going back and forth, yada, yada, yada. Who knows what's going to happen with that. But I think the real next test, and like I was saying about Dana White's Instagram when he was shouting this fight out, he's saying the winner of this will fight Adesanya next for the belt. So I don't know if he dropped that as like an Easter egg little thing, but while he was saying it, he said, winner of Whitaker Cannonier is going to fight Adesanya for the belt. So, like you said, it's so dead even. I like both of these guys. They're both really good fighters. I think the bottom line is the fan is the winner in this fight because we both get to see really good guys. And regardless of who wins, I think it's going to be a really good fight.
Yeah, and I like this card being in Abu Dhabi because I like this card in the bigger cage. I love the smaller cage in the Apex. I've said that in numerous times on the Respect the Chat podcast. I love it because it feels like they need to engage more. They need to go at each other, and that's what I want to see in these fights. Right. But for at least this card right here, I want to see a little bit of a feel-out process in the co-main event and in the main event, which we'll get to in a little bit. But particularly in this co-main event, because I want these two very skilled guys to be in there feeling each other out, seeing what's going on. Because if I think it goes to a striking match, I honestly think Cannonier could put him out quickly.
Right.
I know Robert Whitaker is not a guy who could be put out quickly. And many will hear that what I said and be like, what are you, crazy, Mike? But the thing is this, when he did get tapped on the jaw by Adesanya, and Adesanya hits real hard, but I think this guy Cannonier hits pretty hard too.
Right.
He's a deadly striker, this guy, man. He's very, very forceful with his strikes too. They come with some heat behind them. So I think if Whitaker has to win, Whitaker has to utilize his wrestling, take this guy down, smash him up a little bit with the elbows. Then when he gets back on his feet, mix it up. The strikes got to be combinations mixed in with kicks. That's the way you got to throw that. You got to throw this guy off with numerous different strikes, maybe a couple fakes for takedowns and stuff. I think Cannonier wants to stand there and bang.
And I think he saw what Adesanya did to Whitaker. He just kept his distance. He stayed patient, and he did a lot of counter striking. That's obviously Adesanya's game, but I think Cannonier's obviously watching that fight, thinking, I got to fight one of these two guys at some point. You're watching the fight, and Cannonier has the 4-inch reach advantage. So I think that he keeps it at a distance. Like you said, he wants to stay on his feet. But I also think that he lets Whitaker have a couple charges at him and just tries to go for the counters like Adesanya was doing. You have to be, if you're going to do that, you have to be super precise. I think that if he was watching that fight and he knows what he has to do, I think he knows he has to be precise with his strikes. Not a lot of people are going to be as precise as Adesanya, obviously, but I think he knows that he's had to use his reach, stay on his feet, and I think things will go well for him in this fight if he does that. On the flip side of things, like you said, if Whitaker wants to take this, he's going to have to mix it up, I think. I don't think he could just stand there and bang with him. I know Whitaker, like you said, Bobby Knuckles, he could throw those hands too, and he doesn't go out easily. But I think Cannonier has all the weapons that Adesanya had with maybe a little bit more power, less precision. So I think, like you said, you got to mix it up if you're Robert Whitaker. And like we saw him do with Darren Till, I feel like he made the perfect balance of all the weapons he had. So I'm very excited for this fight tomorrow. And like the cage in Abu Dhabi is back to 30, right? And then the one in Vegas and the Apex is the smaller one, right?
Yes. Yeah, the Abu Dhabi is the regular size octagon. The one in the Apex is a smaller octagon by a lot, actually.
Right.
Now, if you this is where it's like, what does your heart tell you? What does your heart tell you who wins this fight, Cannonier versus Whitaker? And what is your bold prediction? Like this could happen, So give me your heart first.
So, my heart's telling me it's Cannonier's time. It's telling me that he's been fighting, like you said before, he's been fighting these guys who you're not going to hang your hat on those victories. You're not going to go parading those victories around. This is the time where you want to make a statement victory, right? You want to get to a Robert Whitaker or whoever else is in the top rankings, and you want to beat those guys. You want to get to the championship fight. So I think that now he has the opportunity, and I think he's been fighting really well. And that's no knock on Robert Whitaker. But if I had to go with my heart, I'm saying Cannonier. I think he's ready. I think that he has all the weapons in his arsenal to put out Robert Whitaker in this fight. I don't think it goes to decision. So if I had to make a bold, you're asking for a bold prediction. I like a Cannonier second round knockout.
Yes, I agree. I think if there's a knockout coming, it's Cannonier knocking Whitaker out. And I agree. I think it's the second round. There's a 3-round fight. So I think these guys are going to get at each other. And that's why I like it in the bigger cage. Feel it out first round. Boom. Second round, I think Cannonier could hit him square and put him out.
Yeah.
My heart is telling me is that Whitaker should win this fight and should get back to that title contention. But whenever I feel that way when I watch these fights, I'm like, man, it's Robert Whitaker, man. How you bet against Robert Whitaker? The other guy always pulls it out. The other guy got a little bit more juice in him. And I think Cannonier's got a little bit more juice in him for this one. So I think Cannonier wins, and I agree with you. I think the second round KO would be the way to go, man. So maybe we revisit this on the parlay in a little bit.
Right.
and we get you guys to put that down because we want to make you guys some money, but we also want to be smart about this. We
Right.
don't need that podcast. The main car podcast isn't the podcast where they're going to say crazy, ridiculous things. Well, maybe we are. We're going to say crazy, ridiculous things, but we ain't going to tell you to bet on it, though. We want to keep the money in the pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And when we do tell you to bet on crazy, ridiculous things, we're going to make sure you keep it small. We're going to let you know that it's a Hail Mary.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a handoff up the middle on the 1 yard line. It's a goal. The goal line toss from the opposite 20.
Yes. Something that if Frankie and Rich listened to this back was kind of like what we did in the Turkey Bowl when they put me in for the replacement of the quarterback when the other guy went down. I had to step in there like my man Dak Prescott and take over, and I hit my brother-in-law Ryan first play down the field. And there it was. That's what we're about here at the main card. Also, look forward to the next episode or the one after that, but hopefully we got it by the next one. We got some brewskis in our hand. We want to do that. Tell the people what we're looking forward to doing here.
So what we're thinking of doing is what we didn't get a chance to today. We were kind of getting on the fly. We want to get an intro episode out because UFC 254 is tomorrow during the day. But we're thinking of each coming with a brewski in our hands. I got my water today, but next time it'll be a brewski, and we'll try to put you guys on. We both have different tastes in beer, something like that. So if you like UFC and if you like fight night, you're going to have to like, a little brewski on the side with it. So maybe we'll help you out, try something new. We'll be trying new things. So we'll each have something on the podcast. We're going to try to every time and just introduce you to something maybe you haven't tried before. Maybe you have, maybe you want to give us, your feedback on something we should try. We'll try it on the podcast for you. So let us know. That's just a little side twist we want to throw to the main card.
Oh yes, and we'll talk about our snacks too, because my father-in-law always got the snacks for me, man. Oh, yeah. And I know Ryan's always got the snacks when he's in Pittsburgh, man. Right. But tomorrow, maybe you see me and Ryan together watching this fight. Maybe we'll do a little, couple Instagram stories on there during the fight. Let the people see what's going on the Respect the Chat Instagram. But we'll let you know about the snacks too. Tomorrow we got some wings. I think we got a little waffle fry action. We got a little IPA action up in there. I got to pick you up something, Ryan, on my way up there. You let me know what you want. We'll mix it up that way as well. But tomorrow, like Ryan said, 2:00, man, don't be sleeping. You could sleep in a little bit tomorrow, 10:30 prelim start, but the main card, not the podcast main card, but the main card for the fight starting at 2:00, man. Y'all got to be ready for that. I'll tell you right now.
And like Mike said, he doesn't have his full setup. Neither do I. Right now, I'm back at my parents' house in Milford, around the corner from Mike. My usual Pittsburgh setup is going to be, a little bit better, a little bit more cozy for me. Not going to have the lamp in the background, maybe some lights. So hopefully a little bit more of a eye-catching background for me back into my original setup. But do we want to get to the main fight?
Yes.
Oh, man, do we want to get to this main fight? How long have we been waiting for this?
Oh, I've been waiting for a long time.
Just Khabib in general.
Oh, yeah. Well, here's the thing, too. Khabib, Tony has been the thing. Tony Ferguson has been the fight forever. Didn't happen for many different reasons, numerous times, And then it was like, okay, well, then Khabib, Tony, we're going to fight for the, pretty recently. And then with all the pandemic hitting, Khabib couldn't get back into the United States. I think the story is loosely this, and I'll just throw it in there real quick. He comes to California to get ready to fight. They're not sure if they can have the fight in the United States. Maybe they move it to, Abu Dhabi. So Khabib comes to the United States. Okay, it's moved. Now he goes back to Russia. Now they say it's going to be in Abu Dhabi. Goes to Abu Dhabi. Then they say, oh, no, we can't have it in Abu Dhabi. And they move it to Jacksonville. And by that time, there's different countries shut down, and Khabib can't make it in. Right. So then Justin steps in. He fights Tony, picks him apart, man. Holy cow. Justin Gaethje looked phenomenal. I think the biggest thing about that fight is that his coach Trevor Whitman was telling him, you gotta calm down, hone in the punches. Don't throw wild strikes all fight. Give me more precise strikes, slow things down, and be meticulous. And he did, and he totally annihilated Tony Ferguson. I think one of the only guys that ever stopped Tony Ferguson, which was crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I was watching that fight, and like you said, it's been Tony Khabib, when are we going to have this? So Khabib, obviously, like you said, things happen, and Tony does the right thing. He takes a fight. He goes, listen, I just want to fight. He takes the Gaethje fight instead, and, he loses. But Gaethje, I think, came prepared with what he had to do. Like you said, his coach, Trevor Whitman. And I think he does. I think he's that type of fighter. He comes with a plan. He's a smart fighter. He sticks to it. And like you said, he's technical. Like he didn't. That seems like to be a recent thing, like you're saying. But I think he now knows that if he wants to win these big fights against these high level opponents, he has to be more technical. And if we want to get into a little bit of the analysis here about that fight, I think that's his best bet against Khabib as well. You everyone goes into the fight knowing what Khabib wants to do, right? He wants to get you up against the cage. He wants to wear you down, lay on you, squeeze you till you can't breathe. But he'll still mix some strikes in there. So you can't sleep on those strikes. He'll still mix the boxing in there. But I think that if we're talking about Gaethje and his path to success in this fight, it definitely has to be sticking to that technical striking, right? The leg kicks like he used against Ferguson. You got to stay away from the cage. You can't let him back you into the cage because we all know Khabib is so good at that, controlling his opponent, using his body weight against him. And I think that Gaethje's best path to success, standing in the middle of the ring and keeping him in front of you and making him punch his way out of it, stuffing his takedown attempts. And this is, I'm not giving you gems here, right? This is, everyone has said that doing it is a different thing, obviously, against Khabib, arguably the best overall pound for pound champion, maybe ever. So they got right now, if we want to just talk about the betting odds real quick, we got Gaethje at a plus 285 underdog, Khabib at a pretty heavy favorite, minus 350. What are you thinking, Mike?
Man, this one I have in my head of who I think is going to win and how they're going to win. I'm going to get to that in a second, but I couldn't agree more with you. I think Gaethje knows the same thing as we all know. Can't get against the cage, can't fight him, at his game. He's going to want to drag you into deep waters. He's going to want to try to submit you, try to, pound you up when you're on the floor. But his main thing, like you said, is that cage. Khabib's best friend is the cage. That's that Dagestani wrestling. That's what they want to do. They want to use that cage. They want to get you against there, and they want to use that to their advantage. Gaethje's got to keep the fight in the middle of the octagon.
Right.
So I heard him talking about leading up to this, even in like the exchanges, the grappling exchanges, he wants to make a lot of scrambles. So when Khabib comes in for a shot, however that shot is, however that shot, manifests. If he takes him down, Gaethje wants to scramble. So he wants to get back to his feet. He wants to, move around the floor enough so that he doesn't get caught in anything for too long. Because once that happens, I heard that Khabib, once he lays on you, man, he feels like way more than 155 pounds.
Right.
And that's the last thing you want to do with him. So Gaethje wants to get into these wrestling scrambles. Gaethje is a decorated wrestler. He's probably the best, if not the best wrestler that Khabib has ever fought. Maybe one of the best decorated wrestlers in the UFC. We can name other guys, but currently right now, he is the man, Justin Gaethje.
Right.
But I think Gaethje uses those leg kicks, and those leg kicks are quick, man. They're not like ones that take forever or that he could throw with the fear of Khabib taking a shot and taking him down. I think that's why a lot of people haven't used their kicks against Khabib, is he'll shoot in and he'll take him down.
Mm-hmm.
So,
go ahead.
So I think Gaethje's advantage is those quick leg strikes, the scrambles that he's gonna use, keep the fight in the middle of the octagon, and if that's happening, bring that chaos every now and then. Ooh. Control it, but bring the chaos. Make him bring chaos to you, because when they engage like that, it's a car crash. Gaethje's gonna win that car crash. He's the car in the demolition derby that's just gonna smash into everybody and walk out with the belt. So I think Gaethje staying in the middle of that cage, causing those scrambles, using the leg kicks, and then having that exchange in that pocket every now and then to let Khabib know what's going on That's going to be big.
Yeah, definitely. And to two of your points, first I'll start with what you said about the car crash, bringing the chaos. If on top of if you're doing everything else right, like we're saying before, you can't come out with this mindset. But if you're doing everything else right, then that's when you bring the chaos, like you said. Bring the fight to him, make him come back at you with those sort of strikes. And he doesn't want to get into that sort of brawl. He wants to get in, like you said, against the cage, drag you into deep water, like you said, as in get you on the ground, squeeze you till you can't breathe, suffocate you, and just make sure that you don't want to fight anymore. He wants to crush your will to fight. That's what he wants to do. And to your point, um, I believe that, uh, like you said, with the leg kicks, nobody else has really been going for that for the fear of being taken down. But that goes um, right with Gaethje's technical abilities, like we were saying. His strikes have to be technical, and leg kicks in the same way have to be technical. And I didn't even speak about his wrestling, so he's not really afraid to be taken down. Like we've been saying this whole time, his best path to victory is to keep it on his feet. But it's not like if he gets on the ground, it's over for him, right? He can scramble, he can get to a defensive position or a position that allows him to get back up and move and get back to a position that's more favorable for him. So I don't think it's completely over if somehow maybe he makes a mistake, he gets overzealous and gets on the ground somehow. I don't think it's over, but his best bet obviously is to stay on the feet. So
Yeah. And that's those big things with wrestlers, is those scrambles. And Gaethje is a defensive wrestler. That's what that's how he identifies himself. He wrestled against Jordan Burroughs, who's a gold medalist. Like he's been in there with these guys, and I don't even think Burroughs took him down ever. And Jordan Burroughs takes everyone down with the huge double leg shot that he always is hitting people with. If you don't know about that, people Google Jordan Burroughs double leg. It's insane, bro. How he's taking people down in the Olympics, top level guys. Gaethje wrestled against him. Gaethje was able to withstand those. So Gaethje is going to be able to withstand Khabib's shots. I think what it is that his shots to take you down are unorthodox. He does things that aren't traditional. And that's why I think it catches some people. I heard Ally Quinta talking about it. He fought Khabib and a couple fights ago or so. And he was saying he was trying to defend shots, but they were coming from angles that that are not traditional, that he wouldn't do. And then he throws an untraditional, strike, like the one he caught Conor with too. Like these are things you go in expecting one thing, and then when you get in there, his angles are different. His approach is different. Something you're not able to drill for and get used to. He fought Poirier, Khabib.
yeah,
He fought Conor McGregor. Those are two strikers, guys that are not going to get into scrambles. So when he takes them down, they don't know what to do, and they stay stationary. You cannot stay stationary against this guy, and that's where those scrambles are. You got to constantly move so he can't hold you down. Quinta is a good wrestler. I don't know his accolades, but I know he's has some type of wrestling accolades. He did pretty well. He lasted 5 rounds with Khabib. Just got beat up pretty bad.
isn't he the
Edson
only one that
Barboza
ever last 5 rounds with Khabib?
Ally Quinta.
Yeah, isn't he the only one to ever do that?
Yeah,
Last
yeah,
5 rounds? Yeah.
the only one. Edson Barboza, a striker, he got taken out by Khabib. Michael Johnson, a striker, he got taken out by Khabib. So these are guys that he's fought that have approached it wrong and maybe just said, you know what, I know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
I got to do my thing. I think Gaethje is saying, well, I know what he's going to do, and I'm not going to do my thing until I feel comfortable enough to get in my groove. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know what he's going to do, and he's not going to do it to me the way that he wants to do it. So he may take me down, but I'm going to scramble and get back up, and then I'm going to hit him. Those are going to come. When he's going to try to shoot for him, he's going to hit him. He's going to stuff a takedown, and he's going to throw another strike on him. Those are things I think Gaethje's going to do. He's not going to let Khabib feel comfortable in those situations that other people allowed him to feel comfortable in.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I think that we've been talking a lot because I think we both agree that we like Gaethje in this fight, right? If we're trying to get into the picks a little bit, um, but we do have to give the respect to Khabib. He's 28-0 and just an animal. He's just a different breed. And like betting, like Vegas gives him the heavy favorite, and it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a tough. Like we're sitting here saying what Gaethje has to do. He knows it, but going in there and doing it's a completely different thing against a guy like Khabib.
Oh, yeah, 28 guys tried to go in there
Right,
and
with a
do
plan.
what
Yeah.
they thought they were going to do and didn't do it. So
Mhm.
this guy is pound for pound one of the best ever, regardless of what happens tomorrow night. Khabib Nurmagomedov is unbelievable fighter, and I want to tune in every single time. And he outworks everybody, and he has a family environment, and he takes care of his brothers. And his dad just passing away is a huge loss for the family because the dad was such a mentor to him
Oh,
and to
yeah.
everybody else in that Dagestan area. Where that Dagestan area, man, they just breed fighters. It's a little town, a little area, but they just, for the amount of fighters that come out of there, it's like unbelievable. It's like everybody's fighting. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Losing his father, though, I think many people have said, well, how's he going to react to that? You see fighters' predictions and people I talk to, all that work and Rich and Frankie too. How's he going to react to that? It may hurt him. Listen, Habib's mindset is different than other people's mindsets. He feels his father. That's like a spiritual feeling that he knows his father is still there with him. Yes,
Right.
he misses him, but it's not gonna affect him to the point of where it's gonna influence his performance. If anything, it's gonna help his performance, and he's
Agreed.
gonna fight as though if he was there or not. One thing I did see that I want to mention in the weigh-ins before we make these picks
Mhm.
is Habib was a little shaky on the weigh-ins, man. I don't know if you've seen it, but he got up there and they said 155, and he was like, like, thank God.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I think that weight cut sometimes is a little bit tricky of a thing. You know what I'm saying? And
Especially
you
when
got
you haven't done it in a while.
exactly. And he hasn't. And I think that's a really good point. It's not that he can't, because I think it's hard even when he's doing routinely. I
Yeah.
think he hasn't done it in a while. I think look out for that a little bit.
Yeah. He might be a little bit. You might not see him as spry as he usually is towards the later rounds. So um, we'll see. You want to get into those picks?
Picks. What do you think? What is it? What does your heart tell you? And what's your bold prediction?
All right. So this one's a little bit different, right? So my heart and my bold prediction are on opposite ends now, right? I think that Khabib goes in there and gets it done, right? In my heart, I'm like, this guy Khabib is just ridiculous, right? He's different. He's on a whole nother level than anyone probably ever will be. That being said, my bold prediction is probably a Gaethje TKO. I don't think he knocks him out clean, right? I know in betting when you go on the betting apps and stuff, knockout slash TKO, same thing, right? You can bet either one, or you can bet them combined, right? But I think this one's more of a TKO. I think that if Gaethje knocks him down, right, with a couple good strikes, I think that he can get on top, ground and pound a little bit, and the ref just ends up calling it. He doesn't put him out with a punch and he flattens out. Right? I think that Khabib is standing there fighting, but the ref's seen enough, and I think he calls it. Um, I don't have a precise round. I don't have an exact idea of when that's going to happen, but I do think that in a bold prediction that I can see that happening.
And I like that, man. I do. In my heart, I agree with you. How do you bet against Khabib, like at any point in his fighting? You know what I'm saying? This guy has proven he can go out there and beat anybody, man. Anybody. I just think that this is a different fight, though. And I know we probably said that against the Poirier fight too, but Poirier's ground game and scramble ability and wrestling isn't on the level Justin's is. His striking may be, but I think those reckless, chaotic exchanges on the feet and in the scrambles is going to be something that frustrates Khabib a little bit. And I know I've been saying Khabib and Khabib back and forth. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure it's Khabib. Because
Yeah.
that's what I hear his brothers say. That's what I hear his brothers say on
Everyone
the,
says Habib.
yeah,
It's easy to say both.
right?
Habib. But
So
that's
I'm gonna
like,
mix it up. I'm gonna
yeah,
mix it up and say whatever I feel.
mix it up because
Whatever shoots
like
you to the
you're
brain.
saying, I think I heard like a snippet of you said you were listening to Ally Aquina,
Yeah,
right? And he was saying even that he says Iaquina, but Khabib calls him Yaquina,
yeah.
right? And that's like he's like, I think he's right. I think I'm wrong. Like I think that's how you're supposed to say it, but
I like.
honestly, I'm from wherever he's from, Jersey or something. I don't say it like that.
I love it. Al, raging Al. I think he's straight out of Brooklyn, but lives
Brooklyn, yeah.
in Long Island. So, but Al's the man, bro. But so that's what my heart tells me. How do you bet against Habib? But my bold prediction is
Ooh, here we go.
Turkey Bowl Hail Mary, and I'm putting it up there. I think it's a round 3. I think it's a round 3 KO.
Great. Okay.
He knocks him out in round 3. Because I think that's the round that Khabib is going to go for the deep water, strangle out, submission, and I think he catches him. I think he makes it real chaotic in round 3, and he figures him out. He
Okay.
gains his composure, Justin, from the little bit of the chaos that's happening, and I mean just chaos of like the moment. In round 1, round 2, he gets a little feel, but by round 3, I think he really starts unloading. Man, if it was a 5-round war, man, that would be great. You know what I'm saying? But if I want to tuck some money in the pocket, and if I want to jump for joy, like I did a couple fights ago,
Oh yeah.
I gotta go round 3 knockout. You know what I'm saying? If I'm going bold prediction. Also, Gaethje's mom and dad, his brother is always in his corner, in there with him. But his mom and dad made the trip. They haven't missed one fight. And Dana White said it was cool that they could fly out to Abu Dhabi be there. So his mom and dad will be there. That'd be awesome, man, if he gets that belt and brings that back home to Arizona in front of the whole crew out there.
Let's go. I love it. And
Yes,
I just wanted to give some shout outs to a couple of the other fights we missed on the main pay-per-view, just real quick, because I know we wanted to keep this one a little bit shorter, just the intro.
yes.
But we got the 2 main fights, so that's really the analysis I'm going for. But the first fight on the pay-per-view card, I don't know if you remember, a couple fights ago, I'm probably going to butcher these names, but Magomed Ankalaev and Ion Kudaleba, right? These are 2 light heavyweights, and they were going at it, and the ref made a horrific stoppage, right? So Magomed was hitting him with some punches, right? I think he caught him once or twice with clean shots, but missed and got blocked on a couple other shots. And Kudaleba, I believe, if that's how you pronounce it, Kudalaba, was just giving them like a kind of like a taunt, like a I'm hit, but I'm not really feeling it, but just trying kind of like a rope-a-dope type thing. And as he's throwing a counter, the ref comes in and stops it, like you're done, and he immediately protests, like what is going on? How are you stopping this fight right now? So they get the rematch. That's the first fight on this, and then Walt Harris gets a little bit of a revenge too. He's fighting on this, after the tragic events that happened with his daughter. He came out and fought Alistair Overeem. Didn't go his way. I don't think he was mentally prepared. A lot like we were saying with Khabib, something like that happens in your life, and either it takes a toll on you, or in Khabib's sense, like we think, it inspires you. And I think Walt Harris just wasn't quite ready yet. He thought he was, but I don't think he was. I think he might be ready in this fight. I think he realizes that, all right, I got that first fight out of the way. Now I can get back to fighting. So I just wanted to give some shout outs to the other fights on the card, because there's a lot of good fights on this card for sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Tune into this, everybody, man.
Oh, yeah.
Tune into this fight, 2:00, main card, not the podcast, main card, pay-per-view. Let's call that the main card pay-per-view. It's like you said, through ESPN Plus. You buy it right on there. Well worth it. Come on, Dana White. Let us get a free one over here, man. At some point, you know why, Dana White? You give us a plenty of free ones, man. UFC has been an establishment, man, that they run, and they've been running through this whole thing, and they held the sports fans in check, man. They gave us something that we needed to get us through this pandemic of a time, man, and I can't thank them enough for that. So, Dana White, if you watch this, which I know you listen to Respect the Chat, you just don't want to admit it, but start listening to the Main Card podcast. Me and Ryan will bring you more episodes. This is episode 1. We'll be back with episode 2 after the fight to give you our breakdown of what's going on. We'll have the brewskis in hand. We're gonna bring you some Instagram live from our Respect the Chat Instagram tomorrow. Just what's going on, some excitement, some pre-game things that's happening. So Ryan will take care of all that. But here's the Main Card podcast, episode 1. Your boy Mike and Ryan are here. Tune in to us, man. Subscribe. Help your boys out.
Let's go. Let's
Peace.
do it.